At 6:10 every morning, Martha Lewis woke up without an alarm. Her body had learned the habit long before retirement, long before the house became this quiet. She lay still for a moment, staring at the ceiling fan that no longer worked but still hung there like a memory. The room smelled faintly of lavender soap and old wood. It was the same smell every morning, the smell of a life that had settled into stillness. She was 63 years old and lived alone in a small house in Ohio, the kind of place where neighbors waved but rarely stopped. Her husband, Robert, had passed away 6 years earlier. Her son, Daniel, lived 3 states away with his wife and busy life. The phone rang less each year, but Martha never complained. She told herself this was how life moved forward. She sat up slowly, her knees protesting, and slid her feet into worn slippers. The hallway floor creaked under her steps, the same creak Robert used to joke about. She paused for a second, then continued toward the kitchen. Martha brewed her coffee the old way. No machine, no rush. Just a kettle, patience, and time. She carried her mug to the small dining table by the window. Outside, a school bus passed, kids laughing loudly. She smiled without realizing it. That sound once filled her own mornings. On the wall beside the table hung a photo of Daniel at age 10, holding a baseball glove too big for his hands. Martha remembered how she worked double shifts to afford his sports fees. She remembered washing uniforms late at night, folding them while half asleep. Back then, exhaustion felt meaningful. Now, mornings stretched wide and empty. Later that day, Martha drove to the grocery store. She moved slowly through the aisles, reading labels carefully, counting dollars in her head. She didn't need much. Soup, bread, milk. At the checkout, the young cashier smiled politely and asked, "Any plans today?" Martha hesitated. "Just the usual," she said. The cashier nodded, already distracted by the next customer. Martha carried her bags back to the car and sat there for a moment before starting the engine. The silence pressed gently against her chest. That afternoon, her phone rang. She recognized Daniel's name instantly and answered on the first ring. "Hi, Mom." Her heart lifted. "Hi, sweetheart." There was a pause. Not an uncomfortable one, but a distracted one. She had learned to tell the difference. "Listen," Daniel said, "I won't be able to visit this summer like we talked about. Work is crazy, and Emma's parents are coming instead." "Oh," Martha replied softly. "That's okay. It's not that I don't want to," he added quickly. "It's just life, you know." "Yes," she said. "I know." They talked for a few more minutes. About the weather. About nothing important. When the call ended, Martha sat on the couch, phone still in her hand, staring at the blank TV screen. That night, she took out a box from the closet. Inside were letters she never sent. Notes she wrote on birthdays when Daniel was too busy to answer. Thoughts she had no one to share with. She didn't cry while reading them. She had already cried enough over the years. Instead, she folded them neatly and placed them back. The next morning, Martha did something different. She put on a blue dress she hadn't worn in years and drove to the community center. A sign outside read, "A beginner painting class, all ages welcome." Inside, the room smelled like paint and fresh paper. The instructor smiled warmly. "First time?" Martha nodded. "I think so." She picked up a brush awkwardly, her hand shaking slightly. The first strokes were messy. The second were better. By the third, something inside her loosened. She painted a small house with a light on in the window. Week after week, she returned. She started walking in the evenings. She joined a book club where no one rushed her words. Slowly, the days stopped feeling like something to survive. One evening, Daniel called again. "You sound different, Mom," he said. "Happy?" Martha smiled to herself. "I am." She didn't explain. She didn't need to. That night, she sat by the window with her coffee, watching the streetlights glow one by one. She was still alone, yes. But she was no longer empty. Sometimes life doesn't get louder. Sometimes it just gets clearer. And Martha finally learned that her life still belonged to her. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe for more real, emotional stories that feel like real life.